first. Okay, I think.
You're on.
Hey, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Temple of Light Center for Spiritual Living Tuesday evening spiritual mind healing service. Welcome. Let us begin, as all things begin here at the temple, with a treatment. This is a treatment of oneness. So please join me. Right here and right now, you recognize that God is the center and circumference of all that is. We know that right where we are is exactly where we need to be so that we demonstrate the allness of God, the goodness of God, the light, the love, and the purity and the joy that God is. This meeting unfolds in right and perfect ways so that everyone hears what they need to hear and participates in ways that uplift and inspire. I give thanks for this as I release these words now into that infinite law, giving thanks that all this is now so. Welcome, Dawn and Jennifer, Leighton, Shauna Kay, Vance, and I'm sure others will be joining soon. Let us begin just with a few moments of silence, just a couple of breathing exercises to get us in the right frame of mind. So join me. If you're sitting, put your feet flat on the floor and sit in a relaxed pose. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. And again, breathe in and out. As we breathe in this last time, we breathe in the light that fills our consciousness with every idea that we need at this point in time. We release all tension. We release the day. We are present to this moment and this moment only. This is where we need to be, and we choose to be present now. Take a deep breath in. Hold it. And release. Okay. Is everybody back? Just let me know that you're hearing me okay and that you're fully present. Let's put a little thumbs up. Okay, I don't see any thumbs up, but I'm going ahead because thank you, Jennifer. My topic for today is Dopino Hoeve Friday. Keeping in the theme of this month with fear as a guide and motivator and a catalyst for change. Vance, you have something to play for me. Okay. I guess Vance.
Come in.
Okay. In the meantime, what does this Jamaican proverb actually mean? Anybody want to hazard a guess? And those who don't know that, anybody here don't know that Jamaican proverb? I don't know who's frightened. For those who are not familiar with the Jamaican lingo, a duppy is a ghost, right? A spirit, but not usually a beneficent spirit. So if you're not on guard, and sufficiently grounded, you can be taken advantage of and led into pathways and activities not of the highest intention, leaving you trembling with fright, ready to activate your flight response. You ready, Vance?
Don't move. Well, it must be a double, you're a gunman. I man no find out yet. I and I so frightened. All the daughter need my forget. Well, it must be a double, you're a gunman. I never stopped to see. Corey was a boy to I man last night. He couldn't follow. He couldn't follow. He couldn't follow me.
Just a little something to get you in the mood. Sometimes we take this thing far too seriously. Anyhow, one translation of fear, as in F-E-A-R, is forget everything and run. like our friend Ernie in the song. Okay. Now, Rumi, the 13th century Persian poet, he's an Islamic scholar and also a Sufi mystic. He had this to say: when fear invents stories, return to what is true. When circumstances demand panic, answer them with stillness. Now we can know that fear is an exceptional use of the imagination, and the imagination is a spiritual faculty. And this is ultimately creative. I've often said that the imagination is the key to the kingdom. We can make up all kinds of things and create all kinds of scenarios to satisfy our fears. Now, for all of you who fear the lizard, how many times you swear you see croaking lizard on the wall, and on examination, you discover it's a smudge or a shadow? Hardly cause for alarm, right? But your response is the same as if it was a real lizard. And in your mind, it was very real. Our mind will create for us in the physical whatever we have established in thought. Thought is creative. All thought is creative. And this can often cause us to mistake shadow for substance, and in our ignorance make decisions that may not support the realization of our highest good. Does anyone have any remembrance of any time when you really made a fool of yourself by imagining things that not go so? You can put it in the chat or open your mind. Okay, everybody shy to see. Okay. Ernest Holmes, writing in the Science of Mind textbook on page 161, has this to say: the mold of acceptance is the measure of our experience. The infinite fills all molds and forever flows into new and greater ones. Within us is the unborn possibility of limitless experience. Ours is the privilege of giving birth to it. End quote. Now we all know that our thoughts are creative. Our word is productive and transformative. And this is what gives direction to the infinite to fill the mold. Right? That's why we're advised to watch our words, in addition to watching our thoughts. Because once you fling the words out there into the universe acts on them without judgment. But it is the creative thought and the productive word working together that are particularly effective in giving birth to our reality. Now, I believe that our reality is our truth. For what is truth except what is true for each of us? individually, right? It's only what is true for us that we are living. We can only live our truth. No one else can know for us, can eat for us, can sleep for us, can live for us. Our truth directs our minds. So even if we are told of a greater truth, we have studied an expanded idea of truth, it only becomes relevant in our experience when we embody and express it. Knowing the truth is irrelevant if you don't act on it. And I'm talking now the big T truth. So we can know the truth. And this truth, which purports to set us free, is the only truth we know, believe, and live that becomes our experience. You with me? Another translation of fear, as in F-E-A-R, is face everything and rise. In Conversations with God on page 4, we read, your experience and your feeling about a thing represent what you factually and intuitively know about that thing. The challenge is one of discernment. Discrimination is a simple matter with the application of a basic rule. Your highest thought plus your clearest word and your grandest feeling. You know, feeling is just as important as our thoughts and our words. That is how you face everything and rise. The highest thought is always the thought that carries joy. The clearest words are those words which contain truth. And the grandest feeling is that which we call love. So joy, truth, and love are interchangeable in our experience and supportive of each other. You know, the more joyful you feel, the more love you can express. And the more love you can express carries the truth about the joy that you're feeling. You with me? So here's an affirmation for you. You can write it down. I fearlessly use my powers of joy, truth, and love to rise in consciousness and see beyond obstacles to right and welcome outcomes. Let me say that again. I fearlessly use my powers of joy, truth, and love to rise in consciousness and see beyond the obstacles to the right and welcome outcomes. So, where did up you did? Where do our fears live? Unhappy people want to be happy. Poor people want money. Sick people want to be healthy. Lonely people want love and friendship. And back up all this, everyone wants to feel safe and secure. This is all valid. But if we give in to those fears, then we give permission to the duppy to have its way and to keep us trapped in a cycle of frustration and unfulfillment. So what we do? The antidote to fear is faith. Reverend Anne spoke eloquently about this on Sunday. Ernest Holmes says, pure faith is spiritual conviction. We must have the conviction that all is well, regardless of prevailing conditions. We become conscious of darkness only when there is no light, and faith is that light. We must know beyond the shadow of a doubt that the truth is superior to the condition. That's the faith. That is the confidence that will light our way out of the darkness of ignorance and false evidence. End quote. The paradox here is too often we don't know that we don't know until we know something differently, right? And when we don't know that we don't know, we're very resistant to knowing. We have to want to know that there is a higher truth, that there is a bigger idea to experience. If we're always wanting, it affirms that we are lacking in that which we say we want. So, for instance, when the Bible says, let the weak say they're strong. If people are unhappy, if you moan and groan about everything that is wrong, that's not going to lift you out of the unhappiness. Let the unhappy say they are happy. And that's not pie in the sky, airy fairy stuff. It's about planting new seeds to reap the harvest that you actually want. There is no need to fear anything in this life if we believe that God is always present, everywhere, all the time. If we believe that we have available at all times the wisdom that created this universe and which can and will overcome anything that disturbs us, we shall never be afraid. What's there to fear? There is nothing to fear. There's only God to realize. And by that I mean to make real in our experience. Ernest Holmes, writing in Help for Today on page 36, said that. So this is how we stay grounded in spirit. Walking and talking with our minds stayed on spirit, leaving no room for the duppy to lead us off track. So say, the law is my light. It is a complete protection from all apparent evil. I am free from all sense of fear. And that's from the Science of Mind Meditation on page 529. Thank you, Ernest Holmes. And thank you for staying with me. Are there any comments, any ideas you want to share, any instances where you felt afraid and you felt rightly afraid because of what you thought you knew? And to discover that what you thought you knew was not the truth at all. You can open your mics or put it in the chat.
Carol, thank you for that talk. I don't know if it is that we know that we didn't know what we didn't know, but as a child growing up, I don't know if you recall, they would tell you duppy stories, especially on a moonlight night. And
yes,
then
by the Tilly Lamb.
you would not go to sleep because you're not going into that bed by yourself. Because everywhere you look, your imagination tell you that something was going to come out of some corner and grab you. So when I heard you say that, I said, is it that we, as a child, you really wouldn't know that it's not real, because they made it real.
They made it very real, and our imagination magnified it.
There you go. So, that was one of the things I thought. And then it's funny, but that affirmation that you just gave, I heard Reverend Ann use it as well. There's nothing to fear or to fight. There's only God to realize. And funny, she shared that it was one of Reverend Elma's affirmations. And I know she's quoting from Ernest Holmes, as you just said. But really, it is one that I hold on to, really, for myself, that there is nothing to fear or to fight.
Absolutely.
So thank
we
you.
We have to come to that realization.
We have to. And it's not easy. I tell you, it takes enough practice. It's not easy. I'm always working on myself, so I know it's not easy.
Well, it's a good thing that we're working on ourselves, because if we didn't need to work on ourselves, we wouldn't need to be here.
That's true. That is true. That is true. And I still think I have unfinished work here. So let me let somebody else comment.
Thanks, Jen.
You're welcome.
Welcome, Reverend John and Reverend Michael and Dr. Roy. Thank you for joining us.
Wonderful talk. Wonderful talk. Thank you,
Thank
Karen.
you.
Don't we really know who to frighten? It's interesting how we learn the fear. And I always wonder about this fear that we Jamaicans have of lizards.
It's
as well.
inherited. It's inherited.
Yeah, and we get it from our caregivers, you know. I mean, the smallest little salamander was half the size of your little finger, and people run screaming from the room, you know. And I'm thinking, how did we learn this? And they actually say that when you learn a fear, when you acquire a phobia, it's actually a sign of high intelligence. If you could learn what you want to learn with the speed that you learned to fear foolishness, you'd be a multimillionaire because you could market all that you know. So yeah, I love that affirmation too. There's nothing to fear. There's only God to know. And one other thought, you know, when I hear us praying for protection, I sometimes think to myself, protection from what? If everything is God,
Yeah. What is there to fear?
what is there to fear and what is there to be protected from? There's,
Exactly.
Yeah. So we need to be protected maybe from our own fears.
Yes.
Our own irrational fears.
But you know, I mean, I grew up with a fear of lizards because my mother was absolutely terrified of.
Yeah, and you got it from her.
Right?
Yep.
But it was a lizard that actually cured me of that. Because when I had the gallery, my office it was an older house and it had these sash windows right by my desk. And every day I sat at my desk and had lunch. And every day this lizard would appear on the windowsill when I was having lunch. So I decided one day, okay, I'm gonna give him a little piece of something, you know, bread, potato, whatever. And he very gently jumped off onto the floor. I put it and ate it and went back up on the windowsill. And every day for at least 2 months, this lizard would appear when I'm having lunch. And then one day I had a couch in the office, right, where I'd sit and do my drawings and stuff. And one day I'm sitting on the couch and I had my water bottle down on the floor by my foot. Now it had been in the fridge, so it had water droplets on the outside. And this lizard, the same lizard, came over to my water bottle and started licking the droplets off of my water bottle.
Sweet.
And I thought, okay, you're not afraid of me. So enjoy yourself, have a drink. You know, and since then, I don't want lizards on me, but I can at least be in the same space. I talk to them and tell them, you know, I don't want to see you. If you have to come out, just stay on the other side of the room. But I'd prefer not to see you. So, and they are good.
Yep.
But I really got over that fear. Thanks to the lizard.
Yep.
What's that, Michael? The messages don't stay when they come in the chat.
Can I share something with you?
Sure.
On the lizards? My mom was afraid of lizards, but I think she said to me, she was careful not to pass on that fear to me, because I grew up being afraid of lizards, or even any of those things. And later on, in recent times, I took a picture with a live iguana. It's an iguana. It was very much alive. I was holding it. That's a very big lizard.
Yes, it is.
And I wasn't fearful. So it is something, as I said, that's passed on to you, and you just have to be careful not to, you know. I talk to lizards, and to me, they look at me. So to me, they're understanding what I'm saying.
I'm sure they do.
So I can quite understand the lizard coming and licking the water from your bottle. It makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. He was thirsty and there was water droplets.
Yeah. I think my only fear at the moment is dealing with health right now. That's the only thing if I have a fear, that's the only thing I have right now.
Yeah.
But thank you very much.
You're most welcome.
I'm sorry I'm late, but how does this fear coordinate with what Reverend Ann was saying on Sunday? The fear of lizards.
Well, like I said, it's an inherited fear most often.
Fear.
You know, and if it can be learned, it can be unlearned.
Absolutely.
I look at my niece, who, when she was much younger, was absolutely terrified of dogs for reasons that we don't know. Because she had no reason to be so afraid of dogs, but she would not. If she came to my house, I'd have to drive to the gate and drive the car with her into the carport so she can get out of the car close to the house and run inside. But she didn't want to be around my dog. Now I see her have her own dog, right? And it is the dog that cured her of the fear. The dog that she had, it was that dog's mother that cured her of the fear, because he would follow her around and lie across her feet. And at first, you know, she was so tense, you could tell, right? And the dog just, it wasn't troubling her. Would simply go to her, follow her around, just be gentle with her. Until I was most surprised when that dog had puppies, and now Morgan decides that she's keeping one of the puppies for herself. So, you know, you can unlearn a fear, wherever that fear came from.
And it seems that you have answered the question, because you're saying that it is embracing our fear. That is not being afraid of your fear that demolishes the fear. I think that was what Reverend Ann was telling us. You know, you're not absolved by your your own creation. In other words, the fear is your own creation, and you must not absolve it. In fact, you can use that same fear to rid yourself of fear. And I'm just saying, I don't know if it makes sense, but it just came to me.
And the thing is that you notice in each instant, it was the object of the fear that alleviated that fear initially, that caused that fear to disappear. You know, in my case, the fear of lizards. In Morgan's case, the fear of dogs. And it was that the object of the fear forced us to look at it in a different way and to see it as something that was not fearful, but simply something that had a desire to be recognized as something, another creature on our pathway.
And that we are creators.
Yeah,
I have to share this one with you, because sometimes the fear is so what's the word, incipient. It's so subtle. A friend saw my car parked at yoga and left a note under the windshield. I never saw it. I just never saw it. It was on a small, you know, a piece of paper about the size of a business card. I never saw it. And then when I got to where I was going after yoga, I see this thing under my windshield, and I had just got a WhatsApp from somebody, an Instagram from somebody saying, there's a new scam that they put a piece of paper on your windshield, and then when you get out to read it, don't get out the car to read this paper, because it's a new thing where they put this paper, and then when you get out, they hold the car and whatever. So I said to her, no, I get an Instagram that I mustn't read nothing under my windshield. I drove to the police liner, but I said I drove to the police station and asked the officer, please take it out for me. But immediately that warning on the Instagram came to mind when I saw this little note, which was a little note saying, have a lovely day, I love you. You know, I mean, you know.
Oh, the policeman had a good laugh.
He had a good laugh. It wasn't a W or a gun, man.
Roy, I see you have your hand up.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Good evening.
Hi, Roy.
Hi, Dr. Roy.
Hi. Great to be here as usual. For me, I've had a lot of fears over the years, right? I'm still afraid of lizards. I'm still afraid of roaches, rats, all of that. Um, One of the biggest fears I had was, um, and this is me as a registered nurse, right? But in the beginning of my career and as a student, I had a big fear of interacting with patients who have HIV. I just always thought that, oh my God, the needle is going to stick me. Something is going to splash in my eyes, something going to splash in my mouth. And of course, what you fear, you attract, right? So
Mhm.
I've been in situations where I've been stuck with needles, things have splashed in my eyes, my mouth, and that just multiplied the fear even more. But it was when I was working at UA, I think I was on ward 5. There was a young man who got HIV from blood transfusion. And it was him. I just had a conversation with him. I'm like, what does it feel like, to have HIV? How have you managed that? And he just sat me down and just spoke to me just very plainly, and that just started assuaging my fear. Another instant, I remember I was singing at a club event when I was very, very young, think young high school, and people used to criticize me and tell me that I sounded like a girl. And so for a long time, I did not sing. And I say I will never sing publicly. And when they give me solos in the choir at high school, I never sang. It
Hmm.
wasn't until I was at UWE, I say, you know what, Roy, let me try and step out of this public fear of singing, and just get over it. And my life has changed still, and as you were talking about fear, I'm wondering, like, how many of our issues are really lizards, but because of how we think, we make it bigger than what it really is. But how many of our issues really are just little lizards, but we just irrational with our fear. And for me, as I've released my fears, I still have a lot, but as I've released them, I've just felt more liberated
Mhm.
and more
Mhm.
safe, and more just confident and more freeing. Yeah. So
Absolutely.
thanks
Yeah.
for allowing me to share that.
You're
And
most
by the way,
welcome.
before you move on, the affirmations, the affirmative prayers, they've been working for me. So
Oh,
thank you. So thank you for them. Thank you for them. They've been working. It's
good.
almost scary, but yeah.
No, no,
Thank you
no.
guys.
They're supposed to work.
Yes, they've been working. So, thank you.
You're most welcome. And
Mhm.
I hope you're still singing,
Not
because
as much, but I'm gonna get back into it actually. I've been looking at some
please do.
choirs, so I'm gonna start auditioning again. So yeah, pray me
Please,
up.
please do. Yes.
Thank you.
That's wonderful news that you're going to be singing again. Great. That's a great
Yes.
voice.
Mhm. Hello, Elaine. Who is Elaine?
Elaine is on YouTube, so she sent that message. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is acting despite the fear. In time, the fear diminishes.
Truly. So feel the fear and do it anyway. So are there any other messages on YouTube?
I will share, kind of share very briefly.
Sure.
Um, I love that do it anyway. I have a friend, she did pass April in April, but that was our thing. We're gonna do it anyway. So just saying that, and you said it, I was thinking it, and you said it. So thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Tell me where you are again. I know you're not in Jamaica.
West side of Atlanta,
Okay.
West Metro.
Okay. Welcome. And
Oh, thank you.
I know you tune in every week. So You
Yes,
wanna we
ma'am.
know.
I got to get my filler upper, during the week.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Ma'am.
I think Vance added, Elaine says the duppy disappears.
Truly. All right, we're just past 6:30, so are there any prayer requests?
Carol, treatment of health for me, please. Full health.
All right, I'm gonna write them down.
And light for me, Carol.
Is that Michael
John.
or John? Health, you said, John?
Yes, dear.
Okay. Health for Aunt Muriel. How is Aunt Muriel doing, Roy?
She is up and down. She was in the hospital for a bit, came home. But she kinda having some mental health issues now, so she had to be taken to one of the homes. So it's just a touch and go. She relapses, she improves, so she's very labile.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, she's in her own world,
Yes.
and she's probably very happy here.
Yes.
The rest of her distress.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. That's so true.
Reverend Michael.
Right action, you can put me for right action too, Carol.
Is that right action as divine order, or is that something separate?
Right action as right action.
Okay.
Reverend Michael want divine order at work.
Yeah.
Roy wants right action and increased financial abundance for himself and Tony Ann.
Yeah, I'm seeing those. I'm not seeing the
Right.
ones on YouTube.
Oh,
What you just said, you
I
just said
want
a while
right
ago, right action for you.
Mhm. Vance will have to put that over here. And you see in Leighton as well.
Yeah.
You can, I guess, you start and the
Another one for me. Increase financial abundance, Carol. Thank you.
you have another right action and divine order for Leighton.
Related, yes. You know, a question I'm tempted to. Oh, I'm not tempted to. I am. I am being told to ask.
Mm-hmm.
With these requests, have you ever thought about what is stopping you?
Finding the right person for the work, because my right action is to find right employee.
Okay. And this question still remains: what is stopping you?
That's exactly why I know I need the treatment, because that's my problem, and I'm not seeing the trees for the forest. So I need the practitioner work.
Yeah.
I think too, for me, there are some things that are, well, at least they're out of my hands. Like I've submitted very, very important applications, so it's like a waiting game. Um, One of them has to do with my green card, but some of the current policy changes, it just kind of delays a lot of stuff. So you're kind of sitting in limbo waiting. But I've done my part and submitted everything and given everything and just kind of waiting.
Yeah. Yeah. But you know what's important too is what is it that you're doing in the waiting? You know, if you're waiting in trepidation and fear,
Yeah.
that is going to create other roadblocks to the demonstration.
Ah,
See
okay.
it to the end. See it to the end. See it
Yes.
as
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that perspective,
You're
Carol.
welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
I love
Okay,
that old Jamaican saying, what is for you can't be unfair.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think Ernest Holmes put it much more lengthy. You know that if something is to be in your experience, and nothing can stop it from coming to you, regardless of obstacles that may appear. We just cut it short. What
Yeah.
is feel can be unfeel. All right, let's get into this, and you can add as we go along. I'll start off with light for Reverend John. Right here and right now, I know and recognize God. God is light. The light itself that lights our way, that is the intelligence that lights every aspect of our experience. So I am knowing for Reverend John that right where he is, right now, every idea that he needs is presented in ways that he can easily recognize, accept, and act upon with ease and grace, so that he is aware that light perpetual is on his pathway. And the only thing that he needs to do is to put one foot in front of the other and follow, follow, follow. I know that whatever it is that is required to make the journey light-filled and joyous is already in his experience now, awaiting his recognition of it. So he opens his mind, he opens his heart, and he opens his eyes to let the light in so that he can see clearly the pathway before him. I give thanks for this knowing that I release these words now into that infinite love that has already made it so.
And so it is. Gorgeous, Carol. I just got the whole of Sunday's encouragement. Full.
All right. Health. Health for Dawn and Aunt Muriel. Health is divine wholeness and perfection. This health is evident in the lives of Dawn, of Aunt Muriel, as each one demonstrates perfectly the health that God is. This wholeness is evident in every aspect of the physical, mental, emotional being, so that every cell, tissue, function, from the crown of their heads through to the soles of their feet, is imbued with this perfection that God is. So I am knowing for everyone who is tuned in to the idea of health and perfection, that they stand ready, open, receptive to the idea of perfect health, finding its perfect expression through them, physically, mentally, emotionally. Every cell, every tissue rejoices in the recognition that God is that perfect health. And that perfect health is where they are in this moment in time. I know for them that every idea that is needed for the demonstration of this health, every attitude, every function, every herb, every medicine is available and is used in right and perfect ways to effect the recognition and demonstration of perfect health. For this I truly give thanks, and I know for Dawn and for Aunt Muriel that health is now their experience, full, perfect, and whole. For they are the wholeness of God in full and free expression. Thank you, God, that this is now so. So it is. This is a treatment of financial abundance and prosperity for Roy, Tonian, and Dawn. God is all, and in this allness, there is only abundance and prosperity overflowing, finding its way into every nook and cranny of their experience now. For Roy, Tonian, Dawn, and anyone else who is tuned to the idea of more and ever more being expressed in and through their financial experience. There is no lack because there is only God to realize. There is only God to make real. And God is abundance. God is prospering abundance. So that everything that is needed for the full financial ease to be expressed in, through, and as the lives of Roy and Tonian and Dawn now finds its perfect expression. Ease is the order of the day. Whatever is needed is provided at the right time and in the right way and in the perfect amount, so that all obligations are met and channeled with ease and grace. There is nothing to fear. There is no lack. There is only God to express, and the abundance of God cannot and will never run out, run dry. There is always more than enough. So I know for Roy, Tonian, and Dawn, right where they are right now, they open their hands, they open their bank accounts, they open their pocketbooks, their wallets, they open their minds to receive. And this opening allows life itself to pour unimpeded into their experience as money, substance, and financial wellness. What a joy. I give thanks for this knowing as I release these words into that infinite law that provides with ease, with grace, with joy, so that abundance is made manifest in every aspect of their experience. I give thanks for this. I release these words now, knowing full well that all is always well. So
I embrace that beautiful.
Thank you very much,
Wow.
Carol.
So it is.
Beautiful,
What a joy.
beautiful for all
What
of
a-
us. Yes.
What divine abundance. It
Indeed.
flows. It flows. It flows. It flows easily and effortlessly.
Absolutely. Okay, Reverend Michael, request divine order. You had mentioned divine order at work. Did I get that right?
Divine order at work, yes.
Okay. This is a treatment of divine order for Reverend Michael and for his colleagues at work. God is the order of the universe. This universe functions in an orderly fashion so that night follows day, day turns into night, spring turns into summer, summer embraces fall, fall turns into winter. To repeat the cycle, there are no mistakes. There is only order. Order being progressive and expressed in divine and right ways. So I know for Reverend Michael and for his associates and colleagues in his work environment, there is an order that is established, an order that embraces harmony and peaceful interaction and a joyful work environment. Every person recognizes that they are in the presence of God. They see through the eyes of God, recognize God in each other. They hear words spoken as words of harmony and peace, and a commitment to joyful interaction. They welcome each other into a space that is love-filled and joy-filled and beauty-filled. And I am recognizing now that any part of that experience that is not aligned with perfect harmony and peaceful interaction is now dissolved. Only joy, only peace, only right alignment remains. Michael's workplace is now joy-filled, love-filled, light-filled, a welcoming space, a creative space, a space where each one teaches each one to be, to live, and to love the best of their feet. I give thanks as I release these words now, accepting fully the grace, the joy, perfect harmony that resides and infills Michael's universe. Divine order is the order of the day. I confidently release these words and give thanks that all this is already so. So it is.
And so it is. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Kara.
You're welcome. And right action for Jennifer, for Roy, and for Lee. Wait, and I'm gonna be specific about yours since you were very specific about
Yes.
contact with your daughter.
Yes. I'm absorbing all the treatment. They're beautiful.
Yeah. This is a spiritual mind healing treatment of right action. There is only one action taking place. This is the activity of God, being God, in, through, and as every experience of each person on the face of the earth and beyond. There's only one activity that is always taking place. This is the activity of God in action, making crooked places straight, eliminating shadows, and bringing into perfect alignment all ideas, all expressions, all persons, so that the demonstration of right action is ever evident. So I know for Leighton that contact with his daughter is established with ease and with grace and with love and with light. I see through Leighton's eyes recognition of God in his daughter, as that recognition is returned through her eyes. I know that for Jennifer, there is right action taking place, right? With finding the right employee who will step up to the plate and carry out the relevant duties efficiently and effectively. And I know right action for Roy. All his activities regarding his immigration status. All this is no problem, for God is in charge. And God is larger than any so-called problem you may think. God knows exactly what needs to be done. And this God is not outside of yourself. This God is within you. That same intelligence that guided you to this place at this time, it's that same intelligence that is now guiding you to right solutions. So I know for Jennifer, for Roy, for Leighton, as they each individually accept that this God is a God that knows what they need and is even now providing the means to achieve their desires. Because their desire is God's desire. God knows how to do it. So I know for them, they now get themselves out the way. So allow God to be God. Allow God to do what God does. God don't need your help. God just needs your receptivity. God just needs your acceptance that the right activity is already taking place. You just need to position yourself to be fully present and open to the activity. So I can confidently release these words into that infinite law, giving thanks that God is in perfect right action. And this action is taking place in right and perfect ways, so that the glory of God is made manifest through its perfect demonstration. I give thanks that this is so now. So it is.
It perfectly is.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks,
Prayer
Carol.
okay, I see one here. Prayer for focus for Shirley. Okay. All right. This is an affirmative prayer for light for Shirley. The intelligence that God is the same intelligence that Shirley uses. The intelligence that God is a lamp unto her feet, is a lamp as she minds her activities, as an MINES for activities. This is a light that keeps her focused on whatever tasks are at hand, focused in ways that she recognizes that of herself she does nothing. It is the Father within that doeth the works. The Father, Mother, God is that infinite intelligence that puts everything in perfect alignment so that she can maintain her focus without distraction, without any otherness to find its way into her mind, into her activities. She knows and knows that she knows. And with this confidence, she can look about her at everything in her atmosphere, recognize God's presence, recognize herself as the vehicle for this God presence to be realized. So I give thanks for this knowing, and I know that for Shirley, she is clear and focused on whatever task is at hand, so that everything that is necessary unfolds right in perfect ways. I give thanks for this, and I release these words now into that infinite law, accept that it is already done. So it is.
So it is. So it is.
Okay. Oh. Oh, it's 7 o'clock gone already. Hey. Yes, our announcements and reminders. I'll speed through these. Next week, Jennifer Livingston, practitioner Jennifer Livingston, will be our speaker.
Sorry, there's a switch. It will be
Okay.
I'll be the week after. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Sorry.
So Tammo Davison will be conducting this spiritual mind healing service next week, Tuesday, instead of Jennifer. And if you haven't yet tried the class with Stuart Maxwell, the Tai Chi class, it's quite lovely. If you haven't done Tai Chi, it's a gentle, focused exercise that does get results. It's every Friday at 9 to 10 a.m. in the annex at the temple. And the contribution is $2,000 per class, per person. For prayer support, call the temple. You can send requests to prayer.templeoflightscsl.org to Reverend Michelle Senegal, or you may speak with a practitioner at 876-494-9000. You can call the office at any time to make an appointment to speak with either a practitioner or a reverend. And if you wish to support our ministry financially, we do have payment options available in Jamaican and US dollars. Go to donate.templeoflightscsl.org and get all our banking information. And we are very grateful. If you are in a position right now to make an offering, I invite you to say the love offering blessing. Lovingly I give, joyfully I receive. Be thou fruitful, increase and multiply. Bless, prosper, and enrich everyone who touch and replenish all of my financial needs. So be it. Thank you, Father. And so it is. And the prayer of our center. Temple of Light, Center for Spiritual Living, is a sacred field embodying our spiritual community from which the Christ, peace, love, and joy emanate. To touch, to heal, to bless, to prosper, and to liberate anyone who comes into contact with it in any way. The light of the Christ illumines us, our center, our environment. Our spiritual community is filled with and surrounded by the presence of God and is growing from strength to strength. The power of God expands our consciousness of truth, guiding us ceaselessly along the paths of wisdom, spiritual growth, unfoldment, and attainment. We are blessed. To God be the honor and the glory forever. And so. And in this our 64th holiday birthday, we still pray, keep Jamaica in mind. The radiant light of God's love is now flowing through us and from us to everything and everyone it touches. The eternal light of God's love now completely fills, covers, and surrounds our island Jamaica. The glowing intensity of the light of God's love now interpenetrates and awakens within the hearts and minds of our countrymen and women the truths of life who set free. The light of God's love is growing and glowing in intensity in the hearts and minds of mankind everywhere. Love, health, harmony, goodwill, peace, uprightness, integrity, joy, prosperity, kindness, and our oneness under God are now established. So it is. Now take a deep breath. Join me as we do our closing affirmative prayer. What a joy this evening has been. The sharing, the loving, the laughter. We know and feel that God is here present. We know, believe, and accept that all prayers are already answered. Because the answer to the prayer is in the prayer when it is prayed. That prayer is a recognition of the allness of God, ever present, ever active. So I am knowing that this evening is a fulfilling, abundant, joyful experience for everyone who has tuned in and who will tune in later. I give thanks for this knowing, and I accept for each and every one of us who has chosen to be a part of this evening's service. God loves you. You are an incredible expression of God. As love, as light, as joy, as harmony, as peace, as perfect health and wealth. This is the truth about each one of us. Thank you, God, that this is already so.
And so it is. Namaste.
Namaste.
So
Thank
it
you,
is.
guys.
Thank you, Carol.
So it is.